Hey guys, it's Goned here, and today I'm going to be doing the top 25 custom tracks on this new CT pack called JFHR, I think. And it's a really cool pack. I've played most of them, and I have a decent knowledge of most of them, but it's a bunch of tracks that you guys probably haven't seen yet. So I'll kind of, give a description, commentate a little bit on each of the tracks, and if you guys want me to do more of these top videos, just let me know. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into number 25. Back here on number 25 is Wario Circuit. Now Wario Circuit is a very short track, but I really do like the visuals. It's bright, colorful, few shortcuts. I like the Goombas especially. I think it's perfect for the track. I have to give it high credits, just because it's short, but it's good for a circuit. I would say one of its major problems is at the end there's a bit too many ramps, and I'm not really a big fan of the ramps. But as you see here, there's a cool shortcut you can pull off. Not many shortcuts, but that one's pretty decent. These are the ramps I'm talking about. I'm just not a big fan of those ramps, but otherwise it plays nice. It's really smooth. You can take a lot of tight corners, and it pops out at me. But yeah, that's number 25. Let's move on to number 24. Back here on number 4, we are on Skyline, and Skyline is a very unique track in my opinion. And there are a few features that are here that I like, that if they didn't have the features, it wouldn't have got put on my top 25 list. The first one is, obviously, if you look at the ground, you are racing above a track. No other custom track has ever implemented that thing, which I think is really cool. I've seen it done in textures, and I think I've seen it done in like course model or course edits for Nintendo tracks, but I've never specifically seen it done in CTs, so it's a really cool addition to see. Another thing I like about the track is a lot of the turns are mock bike friendly, and it's really fun to race this track with mock bike actually. At first it may seem bland and boring, but when you choose mock bike, it's actually pretty fun. And the road, I just like the road texture as well. The road texture is really cool. Really nice to play on. My only complaint is the last straightaway is a little bit long and boring. So they could possibly add like some enemies, maybe even some thwomps, and just some obstacles. Yeah, that'd be my only complaint, is just maybe add some obstacles. But really, it's an enjoyable track. I also was messing around, and I found this little shortcut right here. You just use a shroom and drift, kind of like this, and you can make it on the bottom and skip the ramp. But besides that, nothing much more to say, so I'm going to move on to track number 23. So number 23 is Dash Cannon Woods. From the first looks of it, it looks really bland, but there's a bunch of ramps and a bunch of tricks, especially low tricks, that make this track fun. A lot of obstacles too. And it's really a fun track to play actually. Sorry about that. I kind of lost my train of thought for a second. But yeah, it's a really fun track to play, as you can tell by the title. Probably a bunch of cannons in it. And it's really smooth, and it's just easy to play. Pretty straightforward. One thing I like about it is right here you can get this ground trick. I don't know, I just find that pretty cool. And you also have a bunch of fast cannons too. The visuals aren't 100%, but it's still really good, and really fun to play. The low tricks are probably one of my favorite parts about this level, and this is my favorite ramp. Like, that is literally my favorite ramp in Mario Kart. I really can't say much about this actually, except that it's really fun to play. And, it's number 23. So, yeah, I'll be moving on to number 22. Hey guys, we're back with number 22, and this one's called Space City. Space City's always kind of been one of my favorites, and it's just always been good. But the only problem is there's always been better tracks that have come out, and that's why this one's ranked kind of low, even though I say it's one of my favorites. One thing I don't like, though, is this really long boost panel section. Otherwise, the track is really nice, really easy to take good lines on, and has some interesting things about it, too. I really like the layout of the track and how it's played, too. This part, not really, I don't really understand that much. But besides that weird part with the ghost road thingy, it's a really just all around well-built track. Not a lot of scenery, but it reminds me of like kind of like a Japanese style custom track, if you get what I'm coming at, I guess. And these ramps are kind of meh, but I mean, besides that, just a cool design. Like, the design itself is just, probably one of my favorites, and just to race on too. Lengthwise, not really a fan, and as you see, I just failed there. But like this cannon section and road section is really cool because you don't like fully slow down, but it is off-road. And I don't know, just in general, like the city section is really nice. But yeah, overall, it's a great track, and that is Space City. So without further ado, let's move on. Back here on number 21 is Custom Track Offices. Now this track right off the start just looks brilliant. And who would have thought of an idea to race inside the office where all the CTs are built? But yeah, I think it's a fun track to play too. It looks nice. It's definitely fast paced, and it'll have good races on it. There's a minor shortcut on the left if you just saw. And I really like the length of this track. I really do. It has some crazy turns, but for the most part, it's really nice. The detail is pretty on point. The ramps are great. Just overall in general, just a well balanced track. I think my favorite part especially is when you go outside into the garden. I guess you would call it a garden, like about right here. I don't know. It's just it just gives it a nice touch to the track. I don't know. I just find it really nice. But yeah, overall in general, just a great track to race on. Really fun, and it has good races too. So yeah. But yeah, moving on to number 20. Number 20 is Fort Side Volcano. Very first part of the track, I really like. I don't know why. It's just one of my favorite parts of the track. Overall, really smooth and easy track to race on. Pretty straightforward too. It's kind of, I kind of like the idea of like a inboarded castle, like with, I don't know. It's like an outside castle, but it's not really a castle, I guess you would say. And there's a shortcut down there on the left if you can see it, barely. Really fast-paced tracks, lots of boost panels. I don't really have many complaints about this track, except that it's fairly bland, but I still like it anyway, because I'm kind of a simple track guy. I do kind of like the lava pillars shooting up on the left and the right. It kind of makes the track look really cool in my opinion, and it gives it some, detail. But lap 2 and lap 3, the fire pillars shoot up after that last ramp right there, and it can it can be troublesome. And I like that castle on the right. I don't know if that's like some kind of fortress or I don't know. But overall, this is an okay track. Has very few obstacles, but still a good track. Without further ado, we'll move on to number 19. Back here at number 19, Mushroom Parkway. This one took me about like 8 or 9 tries to do without falling off. And even now I fell off at the end, so spoiler alert. But back to the track, you can see that there's multiple pathways, a bunch of them actually on this track. Well, actually, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3. And a lot of mushrooms too are on this track. It's very right angly, so a lot of 90-degree angles, but it's a very fun track to play. I'm not a big fan of mushroom tracks really, but out of all the mushroom tracks that I've played, this one's probably one of my favorites actually. It kind of gives you that Mushroom Peaks vibe, and but it's better. There's not a lot of scenery, but that's not why it's on the list. It's on the list just because of the track design. The track design is very well thought out, and it's very simple to play, but it can be complex if you make it complex. This is one of those tracks where it's like, it looks like, oh yeah, well, and it's not really that simple. But yeah, overall, fairly easy track, and there's the fail that I do. But I'm just going to finish up the lap here real quick, and that'll be number 19, which is Mushroom Parkway. Back here on number 18, and this one is called GBA Mario Circuit, and it looks outstanding. To me, it looks exactly like the MK8 one, and that's good, because I would never thought I would have saw like a MK8 style track in MKWii, and it is literally perfect for a retro. I don't know, I just can't see any retro better than this, from the GBA that is. Really fun to race on, fast paced definitely, and the visuals are really nice. Especially this ramp right here, like this kind of tilted section right here. They did a really nice job on that actually. I really have nothing else to say about this track, that it's outstanding. Really nice remake, and there's a couple cool shortcuts and a couple cool obstacles. So definitely worthy of the top 25. Anyway, moving on to number 17. Back here on number 17 is Sky Grove. This is one of my all-time personal favorites by Sneaky, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really big into Sneaky's tracks, but this one is really nice and I think polished well, especially for a mushroom track. Like I said with the other mushroom track, I'm not a big fan of mushroom tracks, but this one kind of blew me away. I really like the length of it. It's nice, not too short, not too long. Plays really well, a lot of good turns and good ramps. Especially these little logs. They're probably some of my favorite ramps in this pack, in custom tracks in general, actually. They're really fun to trick off of, and this is a really nice going track. A lot of good races happen on it, and there are even some cool shortcuts on here. One is hidden and one is not so hidden. The one that's not so hidden is the one I'm going to do right up here. You just kind of shroom through the grass and bam, you cut that whole turn off. But yeah, all in all, a really good track, so let's move on. Moving on to number 16 is Lava Lake. And Lava Lake is probably one of the newer custom tracks. And when I first played it, it just stood out to me. Not just because of the name, but just because just how the track is built in general. There's plenty of obstacles, plenty of enemies, a lot of ramps that are really cool and really nice to trick off of. The drift wheelie turns are really nice as well, and just overall just the track design in general. One nice feature I like about this is how he put like a red pipe in you could trick off of. That's really nice, kind of like Raceway. And some of the ramps that he chose, this ramp style like this, I think that's really neat. And that green mushroom right there is actually, or can actually be used for a backward shortcut, which I thought could be really, which is really neat, especially for like a backward bagging strat. overall, I'd give this track 2 thumbs up. It's just nice all around. Nothing much more I could say. And the length for this style track is perfect. But with that said, I'm going to be moving on to number 15. Number 15, Wario's Lair. This track is really, really old, but really, really good. Whenever I found it in this pack, I was actually kind of surprised it was here. And, you know, it kind of gave me just some nostalgic feeling, you know, just some memories. Because this is one of those tracks that's like, you know, once you replay it, it's like it's really good. I like this section right here especially because there's 2 pathways. The path I took is only open lap 1 and lap 3. Lap 2 you have to go all the way around, which is kind of unfortunate, but it makes it more fair. Another thing I like about this track is just the visuals of it. Because for it being like one of the oldest custom tracks, it has a really good layout and really good, I guess, visuals. There's a little Starbucks actually right there on versus mode, if you can get on that platform. I would say it's mainly a running track, but it's a fun track to front run. A lot of traps you can place, and there's a cool ending cut right here. If you have a shroom, you can just cut through the mud and skip off the last corner. But all in all, a really good track, a really old one, but it's still really good. And you know, I recommend you time trial it for a bit because it's really fun to play. But with that said, let's move on to number 14. Back here on number 14 is Woo Woo Island. And who would have thought a Wii Sports Resort track would have got made on a Mario Kart Wii? It's actually a really nice remake. I never would have thought I would have seen this. And whoever made it, props to them, actually. It's really enjoyable. Great detail. I really love racing the track. It's really long, so I probably won't show the whole thing. Just saying that right now, because it actually took me like 4 minutes and 11 seconds to finish the whole thing, and I didn't mess up once, really. But besides that, even though it's a really long track, it's probably one of the long tracks that I actually like. It has so much to it, and I just wouldn't have imagined like a Wii Sports Resort track would have made it into a pack. I think it's creative. Just overall, I would say an outstanding track. I would go above and beyond excellent and just say outstanding. And it kind of brings me back to Wii Fit a little bit because the cycling on Wii Fit was, I guess, interesting. But besides that, really great track. Once again, props to whoever made it, and I'll just let the video play for a little bit. But I won't play the whole thing because it's really long. So just continue watching the track for now. So. Now on number 13, we have Bowser's Infernal Fortress. I think that's what it's called. And the very first ramp right here is really the only thing I have to complain about this track, to be honest. Besides that, I really love the turns. I'm kind of a 90-degree angle person, so that's why some of these tracks are 90-degree angles. I do like curves though too, but I also like 90-degree angles too. This has also a couple of split pathways. Here's one. I love split pathways. It's kind of fun. There's another pathway right here, which I won't show, but it's on the right there. I just took the main route, and it's kind of like a half pipe section. It's really cool. I bet you could do a lot with it and find a couple of decent strats, but I haven't done anything with it yet. But the outside section is really cool. I love this like chain road. The spikes right there are kind of a new element I've never really seen in custom tracks before. And the geysers, it's always fun to get low tricks off the geysers, especially in MKWii, so it's most likely going to be fun here. I really like the design of the track too, and the textures they used. I don't know, this is just kind of a cool castle. I enjoy playing it. But I mean, that's pretty much it overall. It's really good. But yeah, without further ado, I'm just gonna move on for now. That'll be it. One more thing I'd like to address is I'm going to be doing this in parts, and that was part 1. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and comment if you want more of these top videos. I know my commentary really wasn't the best. I was kind of tired today, and my second part may be a bit better, but for the most part I'm just recording this all kind of in one day. So, and I wanted to get some content to my channel. So I figured this would be a good idea. But yeah, that was part 1, and I'll be uploading part 2 very shortly. Thanks for watching. Bye.